Good morning, retail traders. I'm Washboardjim with a sneaky snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And I was looking at AMD, and it looks very interesting for me in the year of 2025. It's always had great earnings, and it's just one stock that I just can't leave alone. So it ain't done very well this year. It's kind of pulled back quite a bit, but AMD, been trading it ever since it was around 10 bucks. So I really like this company. This is the year chart. We just hit a year low last week here at 117.90. And then if I look at the weekly time frame, that even looks more interesting because we're sitting and we bounced off the 200 EMA and SMA down here at the bottom. So that could be a reversal to back to the upside. We have dipped down below it before, but that was back in year of 2022 when things weren't looking too good. It got all the way down to 54.57. But we've had a pretty good sell-off from 227.30 with a resistance level that I like to call right on the body of that candle, right around 207.65. And right now, like I said, we pulled back to that 117 area, and we're bouncing off that 200 with a double bottom here. And actually, let me draw this trend line and see if it goes right down to it, because that gives it a better confirmation. Oh yeah, that's a perfect spot. Perfect spot. Perfect spot for that thing to start bouncing back up and hit the 9 at least, get back to 133. Now, I'm long on this trade right here, so I'm going to show you something. Take and run this on down. Then you take this candle right here and run it to that candle right there. And that's called a wedge. And we also got an inverse head and shoulders right here. You got your left shoulder, your right shoulder, and your right shoulder. And then it dipped on down and hit that yin yang, which hit as a double bottom out of this rising snake. So we pulled back and we hit that 200 and that EMA and SMA. So that looks real good to me right now for a reversal to go long to the upside. Now I know one good thing about this stock. Cathie Woods picked her up some at the year low. So Cathie Woods goes bargain hunting, 3 stocks she just bought. A lot of people don't like Cathie Woods, but I've followed her and I've took trades that she sold and they bounced. But those are trades that she's made good money on and she gets out and takes her profit. So I'm definitely bullish on this stock at this level. We called it out in the room. We're monitoring it very well, and we're going to chart it out for you. So that's a fallen wedge, and we're down here, and we had a double bottom off this here yin yang, which was a previous high, and then that created a double bottom after this rising trend line. So we're going to bring this down to the daily and see if there's anything that I can miss. That looks pretty good itself. If it does pull back, I could say we probably hit 120.86 for sure. Go to the body of that candle right there and just bring it on straight across. Right around 120.80. But if we hold above that 200 on the 1 hour time frame, we can start popping this thing up. Now there's a quad top breakout. We did hit a triple and it did pull back. So we're going to draw that trend line in here. Actually, take it from that body right there. That's going to be the resistance to break. Kind of snugs up against all them trend lines, all them overhead resistance level. So if we break 128.04, actually I'm just going to go ahead and bring this on down. 127.42 is going to be our resistance to break. And if we can break that 127.42 on the hour, I think we can go ahead and start shooting this thing on up to the next level, which is right around 132.40, with support level channel being no lower than that 120. Anything under 120.80 is going to be a buy to me, and I'll start adding positions to this trade. But if we can hold that 200 and run it on up here the next couple of weeks and hit that 132.23, I think that'll be a good spot to kind of scale out and see if it wants to pull back some and then jump back in the trade and run it on up to a higher level. But we got the Trump election coming. This has been sold off pretty good. If you look at the yearly time frame again, we were at 227, and that resistance on the yearly daily is right around 213. But that's going to be long into the year. For right now, it's just this overhead resistance right here at 160, or at least that 200 EMA at 200 SMA at 154. So I'm going to use each one of these moving averages as resistance levels on the daily. One of them being, let's go ahead and we got the 9, we got the 21. So if the 9 crosses the 21 on the daily, we'll hit the 63 EMA, and the 21's an EMA and the 9's an EMA. Then we got the 200 SMA, EMA, and then the 200 SMA, which will be our final resting place to go ahead and start scaling out of this trade, unless we get a bull market after the election of Trump and this thing decides to go ahead and break that resistance just a little bit under 160, about 157, 158, somewhere in that area. I'm going to use this trend line that I had on that weekly. So I'm going to mark that as a resistance level. On the body of that candle right there. The body of that candle. How it hits these right in here. How it hits that one right there. So it's called a pivot point inside of this here wedge. And that'll be a hard resistance to break at 160. So we'll gradually take her on up. And then we're going to look at the day trade on this stock. And I do that with a 5-minute. We'll look at the 5-minute, 5-day. It could easily pull back to that 120.80 area and bounce up off that 120.80, or it can break that resistance level and move on up and hit these 127, a little bit above 128. That's going to be AMD. I'm liking this trade right now. If it does pull back, I think it'll be a buying opportunity to day trade it, buy a small position, and go ahead and scalp it or day trade it in that day. That's AMD. Cathie Woods, bought her up some. I think she did a good idea right here, buying the dip on a year low. Below the year low, I mean, this is a real good opportunity, I think, for AMD to start going in small, or at least see how the market trend is. And if the market's trending down, then you just want to wait and take the opportunity and get into the trade. But this is going to be one of my long trades into 2025. That's AMD. I wish everybody a great trading week. I'm really excited about the year of 2025. We'll see what happens, but this is a sneaky snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now.